example about a person that hasn't contributed much at their beginning of their term is he has not done a lot.
Hello everyone and welcome to the No Cap podcast where we keep it real, raw, and relatable. I'm your host Francis C. Pintoy and this is...
I'm Sarah Jean Alburo, and with all the sunshine in the world, someone has to stay negative. I'm your girl in the negatives.
And I am Maribeth C. Santos, that's full of great vibes, who will only be talking about the positives in this podcast. Okay. Hello everyone! So this is actually a pre-production during our podcast. We are actually still preparing or rehearsing for a little bit before proceeding to the main filming. So as you can see there, we have Syra. Hi Syra! Say hi to the camera. Who will be in charge of the negatives, and Franz, who will be our neutral host today, the very nonchalant host. Well, we're currently in the LRC main library. So this is our venue, considering that we'll be talking about the politics. So we'll be having a very clean background. This will be our background. So it's currently night. Time check, it's 8:20. Merry Christmas, everyone. Thank you.
To start us off, have you noticed that our Senate lineup is full of celebrities? So I want to talk about celebrities running as senators.
Or politicians.
Yeah.
Well, I believe that there is a pros and cons with that. So celebrities that run as politicians, they already have fame because after all, they're celebrities. Like for example, Coco Martinez, actor, or Manny Pacquiao, who is a world-renowned boxer. Their fame can actually be used for the good. For example, initiating initiatives or fundraising, because after all, many people follows them and believes, or they can be the people are influenced by what they are saying. So for example, there is actually a typhoon, then for example, someone would raise a fundraising for that, like Angel Oxin, then many people would actually help with the funding, and this would actually contribute to the people who are the victims financially.
Well, I see your point. I don't see the point of them being politicians just to do good. They can do it as celebrities themselves. They do not need the power as politicians for that. And while they have the popularity and the influence to do so, what do they bring to the table as politicians? Like, do they have political expertise? Or are they just there because of their fame and because people thought like they're famous? Oh, I saw him on TV, he's probably good, like something like that, you know?
Yeah, I get your point, Syra. Though being a politician or a senator really has to have good credentials, because after all, they are leading the people. They have to have good credentials and prove that they are worthy to be of power and that they can truly lead the people. Though actually, you know what? In the Philippines, not all politicians who have good credentials actually contributes meaningfully to the people. There are actually politicians who have good credentials, but somehow lacks the willingness or the initiative to lead the people. For example, we have Senator Manny Pacquiao. Though he doesn't have a good credential before, he was still able to contribute to the sports community. For example, funding them and supporting the dreams of young Filipino athletes to continue with their passion in the sports community. So it's not really about credentials only. You have to have the heart, the passion, and the willingness to lead the people when it comes, or when we say good governance.
That you have a good point there, that of course they can have the heart to want to help people, but what do they bring to the table politically? Because as politicians, they're there to oversee like policies or like laws if they're like at a higher level, and like if they do not have the knowledge for it or even the basics of it, like they would be having a hard time on being in that position. And so that would be my point. Like, how would they be able to know what they were doing if they haven't learned about that or anything at all before?
I understand your point, Sarah. Though experience is really key to be a good leader, though I believe that if you are really willing to lead people wholeheartedly, then it can be learned always. It's not necessary that you have to have the experience beforehand, because after all, no one really has the experience first. You just have to learn it and then you can adapt. So it really mostly depends on the willingness of an individual.
See, you have a good point there, Marie. So this is you have a good point there. So this is basically just if they know what they're doing, or if they don't.
Yes.
That's
If they know
if
it,
they,
yeah.
if they know the material.
So I can see that it actually goes both ways. While celebrities may have a huge public reach and influence, some celebrities lack the experience to lead, and I think that's what makes it bad.
Yes. But unless if someone is really willing to learn and lead the people, then I think that would be good. Actually, credentials doesn't always equate with the effectivity or efficiency of someone. I think in the Philippines, we really need someone who wants to, what do you call this? Serve, wholeheartedly help the people, especially the Philippines is currently in ruins right now, right, guys?
So it just depends on the person.
Yes. So the voters really have to know whom they are voting for. Like for example, the programs or the advocacies of that person, if that person is actually a hypocrite or not, right, guys?
Yeah, like they should really check the background.
Who do you think is a great example of a celebrity as a senator or into politics?
Well, currently the expected lineup right now actually has Rafi Tulfo still, and then we have Robin Padilla, and then there were many like Willie Revillame, right? But personally for me, I don't think as a voter, because I'm currently 18 years old, I don't think I will vote for any of them yet, because I'm not really convinced with their platforms or programs, advocacies. How about you guys? Who do you think is a good running senator from
I'm not really sure about good senators from celebrities, because like most of them starting off did not know what they were doing at first, and some of them are just there for like the popularity or something, or like they have not contributed that much.
Who?
Good example about a person that hasn't contributed much at their beginning of their term is Bong Revilla. He has not done a lot.
Okay.
Celebrities in the Philippines bring opportunities and challenges. Like it just depends on the person. Like what you said. Who was it? Willie Revillame and the others. I think they have the willpower to serve the country and do more for us. But that just depends on the people.
Okay.
So another point to bring to the table over here is the risk of nepotism, because there are someone running. An example I have here is Cheryl Cruz, and a celebrity seeking a political career, but they do have family in politics, so they can like use their family in politics that to like influence the voters to vote for them, and with their fame, like come on, that's almost a guarantee that they're gonna win, because like they already have someone backing them up and like their popularity.
So you mean having initial power, having more chance to success than those people who actually strive to be good leaders but just has no like backer like that? Well, that's a good point, but I believe that it mostly depends again on the voters, because after all, we the voters have to background check these running politicians. we need to know if they are really effective or not, or if they're just good for or just a show off. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like most of the time, it is the voters' fault for like voting incompetent people.
Because we
But-
give power to
yeah,
them.
we give power to them, but still, it's kind of hard because like a lot of I'm not saying this negatively, but a lot of elderly people are very easy to influence, especially if they're not on social media and don't know what's going on. They're way too easy to influence, especially if it's like a celebrity that's been a celebrity for a while, and like they keep seeing like them on television, and they're like, oh, this person's voting, they're probably good, right? No, and they don't know anything about it because they're not usually in the internet, so they're so very easy to like influence, and that's kind of what the negatives of Filipinos as voters, because like no one really digs in that deep most of the time.
Wait, but I think that's very personal. Do you know something like that? Like example for your parents? Do they actually do that?
Not my parents, but my grandmother is in fact like that.
Who did
like,
she vote for actually?
I think she voted for Manny Pacquiao.
Manny Pacquiao.
Yeah, because like you
Yeah.
know, famous, and I think a lot of my relatives actually voted for him because he's world renowned, internationally known. So like yeah, a lot of people
Yeah.
just vote for him because of his fame.
Yeah. Also, I think because Manny Pacquiao rose from pure poverty
Yeah,
to
it is
fame, so
also
I think
that.
they're amazed by that fact. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like relatable or like something, but like yeah.
Yeah, but I believe that point taken. Many people are really easy to influence nowadays, especially that I believe Philippines has low on reading comprehension. Was it?
Oh yeah, I think it
Yeah, so we really need to learn how to fact check, to background check. We need to empower ourselves, especially with the technology that we have right now, because although there are so many resources that we can gather online, there are also many fake news. So we need to know how to decipher correct information from false information.
Yes, and also the fact that our generation and like millennials and Gen Z are like always on their phones, but still lack the time to check the news is kind of concerning. So yeah, that
Yeah.
should.
I think that's because we're very procrastinators or very lazy to do so. We just absorb what's given to us.
Right.
Yeah, so listeners, I hope that you guys actually fact check running politicians once you're in the age of voting, right, friends?
Yes. Because I think that even if like he is a bad example for a politician, it's still the people's fault that they vote for him because they do not do background checks or yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's another reason why celebrities shouldn't be in politics. But I have another one, and it's what if those that are entering politics right now are just there for like the popularity of it, right? Because there are that people that just strive for the fame of it all, and like they're seeing, oh, some celebrities are entering, why not I do it too or something.
Yeah, well, I believe that there are really a lot of people or celebrities who want to run as politicians due to the fact that they want to actually save their business. For example, they want to just maintain the power they have or they once had, and then also with their financial status, I believe, because yeah, money is really hard nowadays, and unfortunately Filipinos become even more impoverished because of these corrupt officials. So my point on that is that again, still on the voters, because after all, we are the ones who are actually voting. We are the ones who actually give power to these celebrities who will run as politicians. And also, I think it would be better for the Senate or the House of Representatives maybe to actually set or make a rule or policy about these people, and so that if they ever actually do wrongdoings as politicians, then they shall be held responsible or accountable for that, so that at least people are coming to be politicians who will run in the future will be actually reminded that our politics here in the Philippines is not just a show. We need to change. We need to change the system so that our country could at least move forward from this struggle that we are experiencing right now.
I like your idea of the Senate making something a rule or policy over that. And another thing about that is though about like the voters. The thing these politicians can do is like these celebrities as politicians can do is like support or sponsor like feel good projects or like projects that are more focused on the attention people give it more than helping people. I guess an example is like you know what's happening right now about like roads being broken that aren't really broken.
Yeah, especially
like, they're
during
just-
election season.
Yeah, especially during election season, like they're doing it because people's like, oh, they're so helpful, or like them making basketball courts.
Yeah,
Like,
and then
what's
making a
really
making
the
a
point of
carpool that they made that.
Exactly. Like, what's really the point of it? They're just there for like the attention of the people. That's not really
Yeah.
helping anyone right now. So yeah, that's
So that's
really
like a propaganda or like a
right,
campaign.
very propaganda that like just there for like the popularity. So yeah, that would be my point on that.
And so I also think that really the our politicians or the politics should make a law for that, so that our system can change for the better and actually give platform or freedom for those who are willing to be good leaders to actually rule to rule us.
Yes.
So what I understood from that is that we shouldn't acknowledge people that just want to grow their fan base or their popularity. We should also acknowledge their willingness to help us. Yeah. And the projects that they have done successfully and implemented for us people.
True, because after all the money comes from our tax, and we are all taxpayers. So it is only right that they actually do programs, or for example, programs for the public. For example, making roads, but not those ones that are broken and then cemented again just for the sake of election, for campaign. I think it's really time for us to step up so that we can have good leaders and have a good future for our country.
Yeah, politicians need to step up about their campaigns that they're doing, because there's this project, I forgot the name, but it's essentially for cleaning the environment, and people that do it get like 100 per hour, free lunches and that. But you know what people do? They just take pictures of themselves holding like a broom or something, send it off to whoever's in charge, get the money while essentially not doing anything. So like
That's crazy.
Yeah, and it's all government funded. So like I think it was something from our barangay that did that. So kinda.
So it's more
what
just for
happened to them?
publicity.
Yeah, just for publicity.
That's concerning.
It's very concerning. So yeah.
Yeah, so really people need to voice outright with the wrongdoings of what our politicians are doing right now, so that at least we can then change our system. Because if no one actually does the first step, then nothing will really happen.
So now I want to talk about celebrities that have the big fan base. While they're doing good, they still spread like harmful information like homophobia and others. So what can you say about that?
Yes, that is a really concerning thing to have. Like, as celebrities, they already have a big fan base, and as politicians, they have like the entirety of the country. The Philippines can hear their opinion, especially their harmful opinions, and it harms the people. It harms people. Their opinions harm people, and it's not a really good thing to have as our politicians.
Well, for me, I think that actually, we are all grown ups. We need to know where to set the boundary, when to not take these beliefs, because after all, we are not idolizing the politicians themselves. They are actually there to govern us. So, us people should know where to draw the line. Then again, because after all, we are all individuals, we have our own beliefs, we should know where to stand, to know when or what is right and wrong.
That is true. We can't do that thing for ourselves, but the fact is their voice influences people because of their power, so they still have a big influence, especially to those that share their beliefs thinking they are now empowered because someone who is famous, who's a politician, share the same beliefs as them, so they're going to do something about it. Like when Fran said the homophobia, it can now, like, people who are homophobic think they're in the right, so they can just like spread out and do what they want because of that.
Yeah, I believe it's really a challenge to actually break out from these influences, because after all, it came from a very powerful individual, right? So one will think that if I actually follow this one person, then I think I'm also right. Is that what you're saying, trying to say? Well, yeah, it's really a struggle to break free, but then again, we need to be educated and where to draw the boundaries. I think that's all what I can say.
Yeah, so it's basically just about whether or not we take their beliefs
Yes.
face value or we just ignore it.
Because it's really hard to control someone. Oh, you tell them that you shouldn't believe that certain person because he's blah 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 or she's blah 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 blah.
Yeah, and they can't like argue like, oh, why shouldn't I believe them? They're like higher up, so it's like really hard.
So it just depends on the person.
Yeah.
But we need to know when. We need to know discernment. We need to know. We really need to be educated in terms of those matters.
I agree. So to sum it up, the politicians, even if they are spreading information, it is still up to us, the voters or the youth, to believe what they say or follow them.
Hey guys, we're currently brainstorming right now because there's an inconsistency in our script, so like we're kind of having a hard time, and yeah, it's a mess over there, so I do not know what we're doing, but hey, we ball, I guess, you know. Bye.
So now I want to talk about celebrities that have the big fan base. While they're doing good, they still spread like harmful information like homophobia and others. So what can you say about that?
Yes, that is a really concerning thing to have. Like, as celebrities, they already have a big fan base, and as politicians, they have like the entirety of the country. The Philippines can hear their opinion, especially their harmful opinions, and it harms the people. It harms people. Their opinions harm people, and it's not a really good thing to have as our politicians. You know.
Yeah. Well, for me, I think that actually we are all grown ups. We need to know where to set the boundary, when to not take these beliefs, because after all, we are not idolizing the politicians themselves. They are actually there to govern us. So, us people should know where to draw the line. Then again, because after all, we are all individuals, we have our own beliefs, we should know where to stand, to know when or what is right and wrong.
That is true. We can't do that thing for ourselves, but the fact is their voice influences people because of their power, so they still have a big influence, especially to those that share their beliefs thinking they are now empowered because someone who is famous, who's a politician, share the same beliefs as them, so they're going to do something about it. Like what Fran said, the homophobia, it can now, like, people who are homophobic think they're in the right, so they can just like spread out and do what they want because of that.
Yeah, I believe it's really a challenge to actually break out from these influences, because after all, it came from a very powerful individual, right? So one will think that if I actually follow this one person, then I think I'm also right. Is that what you're saying, trying to say?
Yes.
Well, yeah, it's really a struggle to break free, but then again, we need to be educated and where to draw the boundaries. I think that's all what I can say.
Yeah, so it's basically just about whether or not we take their beliefs
Yes.
face value or we just ignore it.
Because it's really hard to control someone. Or you tell them that you shouldn't believe that certain person because he's blah 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 or she's blah 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 blah.
Yeah, and they can like argue like, oh, why should I believe them? They're like higher up, so it's like really hard.
So it just depends on the person.
Yeah,
Like-
But we need to know when, we need to know discernment, we need to know, we really need to be educated in terms of those matter.
I agree. So to sum it up, the politicians, even if they are spreading information, it is still up to us, the voters or the youth, to believe what they say or follow them. So now I want to talk about celebrities in politics, but they don't do anything in politics. Like, I don't want to name drop, but Robin Padilla, like he has a lot of interviews, but he answers so unprofessionally. And I don't think that is fit for a politician.
True.
So I think him being a celebrity and still being very informal with what he's doing is very much like a big red flag as a politician, because like you're already a celebrity, you should know how to talk to people properly or like how to do public relations properly, and yet you're still like that. Like I don't know what else to do.
Yeah, especially that he is a celebrity. So I mean, celebrities are trained how to be professional on camera. So the more reason he should be professional on camera now that he's a politician, because after all, politicians should be good role models, right?
Yes. And the thing about him is he still has influence because he's now a politician and a celebrity, so it's really bad for him to be in the political world
Yes.
right now. So I don't know what people were thinking for voting him, but like yeah.
I also really think that he needs to somehow change. He needs to actually contribute to the Senate in a more meaningful way. Maybe a good first step for that would be knowing how to be professional, especially that we are talking to the public and he has a lot of power since he's in the Senate after all.
So
So I want to ask about celebrities joining politics. Does it enhance or degrade? Like, does it enhance the seriousness or anything else? So what are your takes on that?
Well, I believe that it depends on a case-to-case scenario, because there are actually celebrities who are willing to lead, but there are also others who are just there for fame. And so on the positive side, I think celebrities bring a fresh and new perspective in the politics, because after all, they did not actually go through a process that which most politicians do, such as learning or actually going to law school. So maybe from their career in the entertainment industry, they could actually bring forth a change or policies that needs to be addressed.
I see your point, but I think they're not very professional. Because they are celebrities. Well, yes, they have professionalism as celebrities, but do they have it as politicians? Because, like you said, they haven't gone through the courses that most politicians do, like study law and stuff like that. So it's really hard to say if they're properly professional in politics if they have not gone through experience as politicians.
Well, maybe they can learn and adjust how to be professional in a political field, but I believe celebrities are actually trained to be professional. Plus, it's actually a good asset for them, especially that they are trained to effectively communicate, so they can actually bring forth ideas to the table, so ideas in a way that they can actually resonate or emphasize their points to the public and to the public. Yeah.
Yes, they can very much know. They can very much be professional in the face of the public, but like, do they know what they're doing when they're talking with the professionals they are with? Like, do they know the proper rules on how, like, because like they're talking, celebrities talking on camera is very different to politicians talking in like a meeting or and stuff
with
like
jargons.
that. Yes, like celebrities in media are very much not professional when they're talking. They're mostly do it for the laughs. So they kind of need to know how to do it properly when they are with serious people.
Yeah, true. For example, Robin Padilla, he actually needs to know again where to set the boundary, when to be serious and when to actually be funny. Because in the court, in the Supreme Court, there is a lot of topics that needs to be discussed and it need to be addressed. So, and these are problems, so we need to take this in all seriousness.
Yes, and speaking of, we're talking about the seriousness and professionalism
Yes.
of celebrities in politics, and we can also bring up our other points, like what if they're not there for the politics? Like what if they're just there for the popularity? Like they will not be professional or serious about that if they're just there for like for like their fame. So it's kind of hard, especially now that there are a lot of celebrities in politics. So the things are going to change, I think.
Yes, it's really a disadvantage. I get your point. It's really a disadvantage, especially that there is actually a famous celebrity that wants to run into politics because he or she has a fame behind his or her back. So it would be, I think, easier to win the people. But again, there is no such law that we can prevent someone from running in politics. So it's again, it will mostly depend on the voters again to fact check, background check if that person is actually effective or good as a leader.
Yes, well, that is true. Right now, we're talking about them that are currently in the politics that have already been voted. So they are gonna make a change. I mean, they're already making a change, like Steve Beloy, which is very unprofessional.
Yeah, they actually
So-
making the politics more like a
joke.
Yeah, a circus at this point.
Yeah, so it's kind of very hard to choose who to vote for at these times because like the professionals aren't doing much good either, because there are some of them that are like they have the credentials as you said, but they're not doing well, and there's also like the celebrities. So like, who are we going to vote for right now?
Yes, I wholeheartedly agree with your point, but we cannot close the doors for celebrities or other people in running in politics, because who knows, maybe they are really wholeheartedly willing to serve the people because they have seen a perspective that needs to be addressed and that was not addressed by the politics that are governing us currently right now. So it's not really a good thing to close the doors for them, but then again, we should know whom to vote for if they are really good leaders or not, because our future and our country depends on them in the long run.
So to sum it up, you're saying that the celebrities bring a fresh perspective
Yes.
into the world of politics because of the way they pursued, like they did not go through law school, and
Yeah, and they also have new perspectives.
so they might actually have new ideas to help fix our country. But they are still unprofessional, and I think that will change through experience. And if they keep getting bashed, they will certainly turn a new leaf. Like,
And depends. Yes.
I guess.
Well, others are not affected if they're, there's hate towards them because they're like, oh, I don't really care as long as
I mean, it's-
I have a lot of money, I have fame.
still have the attention.
Yeah, right.
So at the end of the day, it's still up to us voters to know their platforms and run their background checks to ensure that our country will be better. So viewers, what do you think about this? Leave a comment down in the comment section. And this is me, Franz Celestine C. Pantoy.
I am Maribeth Santos, your positive girly.
I'm Sarah Janine Alburo in the negative.
And make sure to vote wisely. Bye-bye! Hello everyone, we are done with our podcast and we are currently finishing up. We're pussy-puss now. Yeah. And my parents have been calling me, so we're gonna hurry up. This is it.
Hello. Hi. Bye.
Bye-bye!